In this video, we'll learn about EJS. What is EJS? Like we see on the website, EJS is a simple templating language that lets you generate HTML markup with plain JavaScript. Yeah, so you can use HTML and JavaScript in the same file more easily. So how we can use EJS? Like Express and body parser, we have an npm for it, called EJS. So we install it, npm install EJS, and we save it. We will have it here. But in EJS case, we don't need to require it. We need to set it. app.set view engine EJS, because EJS is an engine. It's a view engine that we use. So every time the server is looking for an EJS file, it will look on views folder. Yeah, and let's make a file called data.ejs. So why I would use EJS? Why I can't use this? Because EJS make your code modular and it looks better. So we can copy this and we put it here. It's like an HTML form. Let's save it, and here instead of send we will say render data.js, and we should have the same thing. We need to run it. npm run dev. Holy moly. Data.ejs, right. Run it again, and if we go here, we have the same thing. 123 send data. We are in post, and we have the username and the password. So the advantage of EJS is that we don't have to type every time the form, we can use it from here. Another thing you can do in EJS is writing JavaScript. In EJS we have two things we need to know. This one with %, and this one with %equal. We use the first one if we have condition or statements, and the second one if we want the value of it. And let's say you use it with ifs, for, while, and here if you want the value like name. If you want to console it, you have to do it here, console log it. So let's try something. Let's see if 1 minus 2 is less than 1. Let's do something. 1h1. I am so good at math. Of course, you have to close it every time. Remember, we use this when we have statements or we make a function or something. So let's test it. Let's delete this. I'm so good at math. Okay. And if we put here like -12, I'm not so good at math. Nice. So let's see, with EJS we can send something to the server. Let's say in this post method we want to render the data.EJS and we want to send the username. Username. What will happen if user, I want to say that the user is, and we will use this kind of notation with %equal for the user, because we want the data. User. What happened? It will work? User is not defined. Why? Because every time we render this, we check the user, but we only have the user here in username. In the get method we don't have the user. So what we can do? We can solve this by using a try catch method. We try if here we have a username and it will pass because we have one, or here and it will fail and catch an error. So let's implement this. Try. Let's see what to try. If we don't have it, we can't console log it, so it will generate an error. So we console log user. If we have a user, it will console log it and go to the next instruction. If don't, he will skip this and go to the catch error, where we will print the error. Error is plus error. Let's see, we console log it, use the user with %equal and console with only %. We close all of them and let's try rerun the script. npm run dev and let's try. We don't have anything here because we catch the exception. Here error is reference error, user is not defined, but is an error that we can manage. So if we type username 123 and 123, send data to the server, the user is 123 and we are on the same page, home, but we are in the post request. If we enter this, we go to the get request 123, let's say overload code and 123, send data. The user is overload code. Yeah. Let's say we want to use an array in EJS. What we can do here? Let's make a new EJS file called array.ejs and write some HTML. H1. Let's display the array. We make a form action dot array method post and an input. Text. Let's say we have an array with names like John, Mary. Oh my god, my typing is so bad because my microphone is in the front of the keyboard. Mary, let's say Bob, and that's it. We have a form and we want to input a name in the array and display it every time. So the name of the input will be name, and the placeholder will be add a name. We need to submit it with a button, add a name. Let's make a get request to see if the data is right correctly. /array with the request and the response. You do this every time, so remember request and response. Response to send data, request to get data from the body. Don't forget that. So res.render the array .EJS. Let's go to array page. Let's display the array. Yeah. And let's make the array. Array is equal to John, Mary, and Bob. Let's send it. Array. And here you can get it like this. Let's make a UL. How I name it? Array. So array dot for each. Let's make a function gets the element from the array or the name from the array and make a li. Of course, let's close this. So we don't have an error. Let's make the li with name. Yeah, with name. That's it. Let's close this. No, we need to put something like this in here because we want the value of the name, not the name. If we left a name, we will get 3 names, like name. Let's see. Name. Yeah. But if you put this here, we will get John, Mary, and Bob. So now I want every time I add a name, like 1, 2, 3, to add a name to the list. Yeah, I have the form. We send the name with the name of name, and let's get it with the post method. app.post array, because we named it array here, with the request and the response. We need comma here. As let's console log it. Rec dot body dot name. 1, 2, 3. Add the name, and we see that we console logged it. Let's say let name equal to rec.body.name that we input, and the array.push name, and res.redirect to array. This will we'll go back to the get request of the array. So if we type TED, we have TED. If we type 1 2 3 again, we have 1 2 3 again. If we type SD, we have SD. So this is how you use EJS with Node. Hope you liked it.